listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
What's on your mind, Cayman? If you're ready to talk, we are ready to listen. Discussing current events and local news, community spotlights, hot topics, listener stories, cultural and historical discussions, environmental issues, fun and lighthearted topics, guest interviews. Cayman, basically anything you want to talk about, we are ready to listen. Here's your guest host.
And good afternoon, Radio Cayman Nation, and a very happy Monday to you. Happy St. Patrick's Day as well. Thank you for tuning to your station of the nation, Radio Cayman. I'm Raymond Singh, and very pleased to feature on Talk today, Enterprise Cayman through Cayman Enterprise City, cruise port referendum at 1 p.m., and then we have a special segment at 1:30 featuring Miss Ileann Powery and other of our anti-bullying community stakeholders trying to tackle one of those big-ticket items. As always, we do encourage you to join the conversation. Simply dial 949-6990 or WhatsApp us at 925-3261. Back with more Talk today following this very brief disclaimer.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
Talk Today is reminding you
to avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
And now, back to Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. I'm Raymond Singh, your guest host for today. A big shout out to Mr. OC, who will be back in studio tomorrow. But very pleased to have in studio from Cayman Enterprise City, Mr. Charlie Kirkconnell, CEO, and Mr. Alee, the CTO of Cayman Enterprise City and the Director of Enterprise Cayman, Mr. Kirkconnell being the chairman of Enterprise Cayman. Good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, so it's St. Patty's Day. Any celebrations? I got to ask. I mean, it's one of those community conversation bits.
There might be a beverage or two later.
Okay. Yeah. Coffee.
Sure.
That green Irish coffee.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, my son's over there watching his, he knows I'm a big coffee drinker. And yourself, Charlie?
No plans, but we'll see how it goes.
All right. That's a very safe answer. I love it. Yeah. So we're here to talk about the new digital certification program. If I'm correct, it is the Cayman Digital Skills Certificate Program, a collaborative effort between UCCI and Enterprise Cayman. Mm-hmm. Current snapshot, okay?
Yes.
All right, so walk us through it.
Well,
if you don't want, just like some topical points. I know we're waiting for another guest to join us in a bit, but walk us through the certificate.
Yeah. So the origins of it are in Enterprise Cayman is a Cisco networking academy, as is UCCI. So we found that we were offering some of we at least had the ability to offer some of the same things, and we thought, well, why don't we see about putting together a program that leverages, some of the Cisco Networking Academy courses together with some other kind of related, kind of supporting, if you will, courses, maybe electives, maybe kind of it might be a good word for that, and kind of put it together in a form that is a certificate program where at the end of it you complete each of the components, and you can complete each of the components individually on their own. They're very useful courses individually, but the idea was to put together a digital skills certificate that was greater than the sum of its parts, if you will. and offer that to through to the general public for the purpose of in some cases you have people who are interested in launching a career in technology, and in some cases you have people who they're already in the space, but they need to, as part of their professional development. So they may take a Cisco course, or they may take a certificate course for the purpose of career advancement.
Very thorough. I like the collaborative approach with teaming up with our tertiary education. They have direct feed into those coming out of high school, those who are in the upskilling market, so to speak, and that's where you're teaming up. Now, as far as for those who are not aware, the Cisco certified, what does Cisco mean? For those who are not. CTO is Chief Technology Officer.
Yes.
All these acronyms.
Cisco is one of the largest computer networking manufacturers in the world. So much so that they have actually established a set of certifications which are industry standard certifications. So if you become what's called a CCNA, a Cisco Certified Network Admin, you got a career ahead of you.
Got it. You're not going anywhere. You got a good gig for a while.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there are other Cisco certifications as well.
Okay.
So by us becoming a Cisco Networking Academy, it gave us access to their content. It gave us access to their program and the ability to basically offer students in Cayman certification without having to leave the island.
Absolutely. Yeah.
By teaming up with UCCI, instead of collaboration is much stronger than competition sometimes,
Most times,
and being able to work with them and their professional educators gives us some strength and some capabilities that we wouldn't otherwise have.
Sure.
We're interested in tech because so many of our clients on the Cayman Enterprise City side are in the tech space.
Correct. That's your wheelhouse, yeah.
They would much rather hire local than shipping people in from all over the world. So we're in some ways trying to meet demand, but also as Caymanians, Charlie and I are looking at creating pathways into the space for young Caymanians.
And very important. You mentioned that collaborative word. I think it's a word that's going to come up in today's show quite a bit, not just your segment and the few other ones. And that collaboration is so important. You're bringing the industry, that professional enterprise of what you do at Cayman Enterprise City, teaming up with an education model that it works. It might need some tweaking every and now again, but it works. And so they have the access to students, they have the teachers. You're teaming up, bringing in the kind of the skill sets that are coming through, and because you know from your client perspective what they are looking for and future candidates, right? Maybe not tomorrow, but definitely in the next 1, 2, 4 years.
Well, we're on the demand side, if you will. So we're not educators, but what we bring to the table are, as Alee mentioned, we're part of the pathway. Sure. So it's one thing to go out and complete the academic side of your training, but it's another thing as well. Obviously, the other side of the equation is what does the employer want and need. So putting those things together, the idea is that it leads to employment, because you can obviously go out and get a great education in a field that the demand doesn't exist. And now you've got great qualifications, great education, but there's not a job for you. So what we're doing from our side, and the reason why UCCI was so interested in the collaboration, was because we can bring that employer side, demand side, the kind of the knowledge and the connections to the table, where they bring the academic side, the education side, which that's not who we are, and ultimately, by the kind of combined effort, creates that pathway that so many young people are looking for. Ultimately, people want to get an education, but for the purpose of getting a job so that they can support themselves and their families. And so connecting it to the employment on the demand side is kind of completes the picture in a very, very important way.
I think you just nailed it.
Yeah,
nailed it pretty good.
Well, one other thing that we bring to the table as well, which we're developing it as we go. There's more to it than just the demand side. We CEC and Enterprise Cayman between us host over 150 events per year, and a lot of those are knowledge transfer and networking type events. And added to the demand side, added to the education side, is also the kind of the community side, where people, young people, can have an opportunity to get into an environment that is more than just academic, if you will, and attend things like cyber sandboxes, which are hands-on, twice monthly. Kind of borderline networking, but also hands-on, technical focused events, and gain some exposure to potentially some skills that maybe are not quite, they're not in their coursework, but are adjacent to it or related to it in some way, and then also make connections with in a something of a more relaxed setting, if you will, with prospective employers, people who are in the industry already, and they come along to these sessions, and there are students there, there are accomplished professionals there, and in a something of a relaxed environment, gives people the opportunity to make connections with someone that will hopefully one day offer them employment. So
very succinct but very thorough. I like it. Thank you. I do have two questions, but we have to go to commercial break.
Sure.
When we come back, we'll dive more into Enterprise Cayman and their new the collaborative effort with UCCI and Enterprise Cayman with the Digital Skills Certificate Program. Back with more talk today, right after this.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Here are a few tips that will benefit you. Ensure to log out completely when you finish any online banking activities. Be aware of phishing attempts and only click links from trusted sources that are sent from your device through emails and messages. Remember, Cayman National will never ask you for your credentials. If you suspect a fraud attempt or that your account has been compromised, please immediately contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Easter vacation is just around the corner, and Cayman Airways has added multiple extra flights to some of your favorite destinations, some of mine too. Look here, they got seats available now for booking on extra Easter flights between Grand Cayman and Kingston, La Ceiba, Miami, Cayman Brac, Little Cayman, and you can even catch a non-stop flight to Montego Bay for Easter. Check it out. You can visit CaymanAirways.com, contact a local travel agent, or call Cayman Airways Reservations on 949-2311. And don't wait too long though, because these extra Easter seats always sell fast. Be sure to add your Sir Turtle Rewards number to your booking so you can earn more miles for more free trips this year. Well, I know where I'm going. I'll see you on board a uniquely Caymanian airline for Easter.
Subway and Oreo has changed the dessert game. Introducing the Oreo Footlong Cookie, a full 12 inches of chocolatey, creamy goodness. It's big, it's bold, and it's here for a limited time. Perfect for sharing or not. We won't judge. Want it fast? Order ahead with the Subway Cayman Islands app for quick pickup and earn loyalty points, or get it delivered straight to your door with Bento and Let's Eat. Don't wait. Treat yourself today. The Oreo Footlong Cookie is calling your name. Subway. Eat fresh. Snack sweet.
The best foundation you can wear is glowing, healthy skin. The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter specialize in enhancing your skin's well-being. Whether you're seeking advanced skincare, including any skin cancers, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email drportercayman@gmail.com or call 946-9020. That is 946-9020.
Hi, this is Roy Tatum, your PPM candidate for Red Bay.
Hi, this is Crystal Gomez-Wilson, your PPM candidate for Prospect.
Come out Tuesday, March 18th at 7 p.m. to our joint Red Bay and Prospect area meeting at the empty lot next to the Seafarers Hall.
Come listen to the issues and solutions that matter to you. We are proven, stable leadership. Moving forward with the PPM.
We're moving forward. We're moving forward.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you're just tuning in, I'm Raymond Singh, your guest host for today. Pleased to have in studio two charismatic individuals, Mr. Charlie Kirkconnell and Mr. Alee, just discussing our weekend adventures. And back to the topic of UCCI Enterprise Cayman collaborative effort, the Cayman Digital Skills Certificate Program. Charlie, before the break, you were mentioning the pathways being created by this initiative. There's a demand in this field, and we, not to politicize the conversation of employability, but a lot of times we do hear about Caymanians who do go off to school, get the diplomas, come back, and struggle. And the struggle is real. But you mentioned something that I think is really important. Sometimes they are choosing career paths, which the demand may have been there 10 years ago, but the industries that you're representing have changed dramatically. And this is what this course does, is help them kind of shift gears just a bit. You got a degree, great. You can still upskill, you can still look into these fields and step in and see if you can better your opportunity chances of finding employment with the newest industries that are coming out, and that's the reality.
Well, the idea behind the pathway is that it begins early. So that you're not into the workforce. Well, to try, this it can happen this way too, but with the pathways beginning early, you start working towards a career in technology. You see, the pathway shows you that this is the destination, and this is how you get there. Because I think that's one of the difficulties for young people, and certainly was for me when I was a young person, not that long ago.
Just a minute. I'm with you on this.
Yeah, kind of figuring out, as a young person, sometimes you're not even sure exactly where you want to go, but to the extent that you have at least a vague idea or an idea of that, it's going to be in tech, and I think Alee can probably speak to this much better than I can as it relates to tech. But having an idea of the direction that you want to move in, but then not knowing what steps to take, I think is part of what makes preparing yourself or positioning yourself for a career in a particular field difficult. So by doing as much as we can to create that pathway and to light that pathway, we think that the results will speak for themselves in the years ahead, and result in people coming out of school or out of these programs with they're career ready. They're again, coming back to the collaboration and the things that the demand side and the things that CEC brings to the table as part of this partnership with UCCI, is that the idea is not just to kind of produce graduates or produce people who have come through the programs with academic only skills. And now they have to learn all of the other stuff. If we can get people working, getting young people and people who are training for career changers. If we can help with that, make that part of the process, part of the academic process, I think then they come out of their programs more employment ready.
Exactly. Alee, the heavy conversation, now the technical side of this. I'm going to reference a point that, Charlie, you made at the very start. You mentioned that what this collaborative effort does is afford, you didn't use the word safe, you used the word, it wasn't comfortable environment for students to kind of learn this month. But I'm going to use the word safe. And the reason I use the word safe is education models. In order to learn, you have to be safe and comfortable in your environment. Students can't go to school and learn if they're not in a safe environment. Tech is one of these industries that scares people. I joke around just now, like I turned the TV on and I couldn't actually operate the remote on the TV because I didn't have those skills. Especially the older you get, technology has changed so much that someone who was highly employable 10 years ago can find themselves very quickly unemployable today. And it's scary to go, what is all this coding? What is Cisco? None of this. This is a foreign language. It's like learning a foreign language at 40 years old or 25 years old is still just as challenging, right? And so what you're doing here is trying to create, and what I'm asking is, this safe space of the collaborative effort between Enterprise Cayman, UCCI, through this Cisco model. To start off with, how would you communicate how safe this program is for, say, a 25-year-old coming out of college, has a degree, or just starting UCCI, about the importance of kind of got to get out of that comfort zone, right? But it's so hard. But you're the CTO expert, and so we're deferring to you to answer that very hard question.
One of the things that we talked about initially was creating pathways, and we talked about young Caymanians having options to pursue a career path in tech. But it's more than just younger students. The courses that we're looking at, the programs that we're looking at developing, not just this one with UCCI, but others as well, will provide pathways for older folks who are looking for a career change. Awesome. So we've had some of those folks attend various events.
Great.
30-year-olds, mid-30s, even older, who are looking for a career change, or they've found themselves in a tech space that they didn't plan to be in, and they don't have the certifications.
That's what we're seeing a lot of. I see a lot of that, actually. People the roles has transitioned.
Right.
And they were just kind of sitting there doing different kinds of trainings, leadership trainings or whatever kind of training, but they weren't learning these new it wasn't like Excel we learned back in the 90s. This is a whole new landscape and language that is very foreign.
And sometimes folks, as the company you work for or the industry you work in transforms around you,
yes,
and you find yourself taking on these new, more and more technical roles, you may not have had the time or the opportunity to go out and get certified. So we're also looking to service those sorts of folks as well.
I like that holistic approach.
And I think one of the things that Alee has mentioned and kind of alluded to just now was that you find people in a position where they can do the work because they are doing the work, and things have grown up around them, but they don't have the certification, which has consequences for career advancement and promotion and salary increases.
Absolutely.
So if you go, you go out, the opportunity to go out and get that certification, now that goes on your CV. When it comes time for, for the position to be, I guess, to be filled or whatever. If you're, moving into a kind of a promotion because you're doing the work, but you're still at your previous, and they there's the job opening has been advertised and requires that certificate. You can come along with that then, with that certificate and the experience and the expertise. Then it opens that door that may have otherwise been closed.
Well said. Well said. And so let's jump into the actual course itself and how people can get involved in it. Because I am seeing some of the actual more technical terms like Python and JavaScript, which I know nothing about. So, Alee, I'm going to have to, like Charlie here. Mike's yours.
So what I will say about this collaboration with UCCI is it's more than just the technical qualifications and the certifications that you'll get from Cisco. UCCI is bringing something very unique to it. Once you complete the digital skills certificate, you actually get college credits, which you can then apply to furthering this or other courses of study
degree programs
at UCCI. So I think that is a very unique proposition that we couldn't do it on our own. But again, collaborating with UCCI brings additional value to students who pass through. This initial skills certificate is very introductory. It's very basic. You really don't need to be technical in your background to actually start this program. It's an introduction to networking, introduction to cybersecurity, an introduction to things like Linux, the Internet of Things, and other concepts that are covered within the course. In addition to which, UCCI has their own class they've added on, which is an introduction to AI, which is extremely relevant no matter who you are in today's world, no matter what career you've got. AI is an ongoing opportunity and threat.
That's a whole different conversation. Yes, you are absolutely correct. And it's always operating around us. That's the thing about it. Like right now, this show is being broadcast on YouTube as well. And that YouTube algorithm is operating in the background of that same video that is being broadcast right now. We don't see it. We don't hear it. It's there, though. And it's somewhere in the back. It's kind of ticking away.
So being able to introduce students to a wide range of concepts and subject material, being able to get them certified in a number of these areas, and then walk away with college credits as well. I think it's a big bang for your buck as someone who's looking at maybe just becoming more conversant with tech. Maybe you don't want to necessarily take a career change, but if you want to know a little bit more about all these buzzwords, this is one way of getting an introduction.
That's just that conversant ability, right? To be able to converse fluidly in the language of what we're using on our devices, and that's what you're offering. Now, we do have to go to our break, but really quickly, is this a paid or a sponsored program? How do people register, and what is the cost factor of kind of like registering for these types of courses through this program? Or is that something that people can go to and send an email and get more information
They
about?
can get more information. You can go to our enterprisecayman.ky website, and there's a registration form there. It is a paid course.
It is, okay.
Yes.
Okay. Good to know, because some courses people can get into quite rapidly and they're not charged. But the reality is this is an investment in, and I feel like it's like any college degree, right? On that note, we do got to go to a commercial break. When we come back, we'll dive more into the UCCI Enterprise Cayman Digital Skills Certificate Program. Back with more talk today, right after this.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Here are a few tips that will benefit you. Ensure to log out completely when you finish any online banking activities. Be aware of phishing attempts and only click links from trusted sources that are sent from your device through emails and messages. Remember, Cayman National will never ask you for your credentials. If you suspect a fraud attempt or that your account has been compromised, please immediately contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Easter vacation is just around the corner, and Cayman Airways has added multiple extra flights to some of your favorite destinations, some of mine too. Look here, they got seats available now for booking on extra Easter flights between Grand Cayman and Kingston, La Ceiba, Miami, Cayman Brac, Little Cayman, and you can even catch a non-stop flight to Montego Bay for Easter. Check it out. You can visit CaymanAirways.com, contact a local travel agent, or call Cayman Airways Reservations on 949-2311. And don't wait too long though, because these extra Easter seats always sell fast. Be sure to add your Sir Turtle Rewards number to your booking so you can earn more miles for more free trips this year. Well, I know where I'm going. I'll see you on board a uniquely Caymanian airline for Easter.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
And welcome back to Talk Today. I'm Raymond Singh, your guest host on this Monday afternoon. Happy St. Patty's Day again. We have in studio from Enterprise Cayman, Mr. Charlie Kirkconnell and Mr. Alee discussing the collaborative effort with UCCI and Enterprise Cayman to offer a digital skills certificate program, a combination kind of certificate program involving Cisco programming courses, digital literacy programs, and CompTIA. And now on these ones, again, Alee, we're going to have to defer to you and walk us through some of these courses and what these acronyms mean.
Sure. So there's 8 classes as part of the Digital Skills Certificate program, and they range from introduction to networking, where you learn how computers talk to each other over a computer network, introduction to cybersecurity, which is again just an introductory exposure to what cybersecurity is, what the threats are, how the actors tend to do their attacks, and that sort of thing. There's some very specific things to the technical space, such as an introduction to something called Tracer, which is a packet tracing technology that Cisco uses across multiple programs. So it sets you up for future courses.
Pocket Tracer?
Packet tracing.
Packet tracing.
Mm-hmm.
Want to explain that briefly, or is that a short explanation?
Packets are how data is chopped up on the
okay.
internet.
Gotcha.
So being able to read that and figure out where a packet came from and where it's going to helps you with network diagnostics. It's the standard tool that us geeks have to have in our toolbox.
Charlie's staring at his table, and I'm just blankly staring at you. So yes.
So happy Alee is here.
Sorry about that.
So one of the things that we're also working on with UCCI is a partnership we're exploring with another industry standard entity called CompTIA, CompTIA. And CompTIA has been doing technical certification programs in the industry for many, many years, and has become unto themselves an industry standard as well. So right now, the sort of 3 of us, CompTIA, UCCI, and us, are exploring ways that we can maybe develop something similar to the digital skills certificate that we're doing as a Cisco Plus type of activity, and also exploring how we can do that with CompTIA. Again, the benefit is that it's yet another industry standard set of certs that a professional or someone who was looking at a pathway to tech would have available to them to explore and to be able to also offer to folks who are already in the industry, already working locally. But again, a certificate in networking would be very valuable for them, so they will have additional courses to be able to add to their resume, as Charlie was mentioning.
It's a lot. I do like that you've taken this kind of comprehensive, holistic approach to, we're a small community, so each of these kind of little wins that you're putting together, they reverberate. There's a compound effect and stuff that you're doing, right? And you see it many years from now. That's the unfortunate part. You don't see it right away. Right. But as far as you referenced industry standard a few times, because I don't know the answer to this one. CompTIA, is it CompTIA?
CompTIA.
CompTIA and Cisco, are they basically your industry standards for this industry here in Cayman, or are there other
global?
So there's no other standards that are kind of that people can look at, or these are like the 2 primary ones?
These are 2 of the leading ones.
Gotcha, okay.
There are a few others out there as well. Obviously, there's Microsoft certifications if you focus on a Microsoft environment, and there's some others as well. But these are standards that are accepted across the global telecoms and IT industry.
Perfect. So not only are you making yourself more employable here in Cayman, you can literally go global with this. And because it's digital, a lot of times you can go global and stay local, right?
Yes.
So there's a lot of if you're really planning ahead, if you're a parent or a grandparent right now, you have a child that's 16, 17 in high school, and you're kind of looking at their next 4-year trajectory, this is a pathway that kind of opens up the floodgates for every opportunity globally in the future.
Absolutely.
One thing I like to say, because just to the people who are in this industry will recognize those names and be very comfortable with them. But for people like me who are not technical and are not in the industry, an important point that I think that I would like to make is that these relationships and these courses and so on are not something that kind of CEC dreamed up and kind of went out and found some people on the internet or met someone at a trade show, had something to sell or anything like that. These are relationships that, especially the CompTIA relationship, that has originated with UCCI. Gotcha. So how we came into the picture as it relates to CompTIA and the courses that they offer. UCCI brought two gentlemen from CompTIA down a few months ago to one of their conferences, and actually one of the gentlemen from CompTIA was keynote speaker at their conference. So where I'm going with all of that is to say that just to kind of give some confidence, if you will, to people who are taking a look at these courses and who has put this together. Does it have value, or is it just something that CEC is trying to sell to people and so on? It's definitely not that. These are global standard compliant programs that the certificate courses have originated with UCCI, and they brought us on board to participate in, because as we talked about before, we're on the demand side and on the kind of community side. That's how it's originated. So for people who are thinking about, what is the substance and the quality of these programs, maybe just having the assurance that, this originated with UCCI, Dr. Robertson and Peter Paul, who neither of them could be here today, unfortunately. But if they were here, they would be speaking about it from that perspective.
Awesome. And I think you hit a really important point. There is some teeth to the fact that you're not that anyone would suggest you are, but you're not a fly-by-night educator who's got an online course, who's running around saying, hey, come take my course and you can get a job tomorrow. Like, you're not doing that fly-by-night scam. You're actually saying this is actually established relationships. These are two very large brands, UCCI and Enterprise Cayman, in our jurisdiction. And so there's a lot of wins from... And I go back to that point before, like the floodgates that are opening, right? You're using everything you have at your disposal, so is UCI, to create this massive opportunity. And I love it. I think it's great. I really do think I appreciate what you're doing for the industry. I think there's, when we talk about, if we can put the conversation on the politics side for just a moment on employability, because I know there's a mention here about sponsoring potential students. When you factor in the cost of work permits over the duration of a 4 to 8 year period, whatever the new legislation is going to be, those costs of those permits and the cost of these courses, I can't imagine are going to be a whole lot different when they're all compounded and added up at the end of the day. And instead of hiring someone who's on a permit, there is an opportunity here to invest locally in the local talent, in the education setup. The same scenario you would have with government scholarships, where you're going to take these courses and come work with us, and we're going to help grow your career, and you're going to build the Cayman Islands into the mecca of digital Caribbean, right? That's the idea, right? That's the utopian dream, theoretically, right? Yeah.
Well, no, not theoretically. Actually, that's what we want to do.
Yeah. Well, yeah. See, exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. See, we're on the same page.
Yeah.
We don't know nothing about tech, but we're on the same page.
Yeah.
Poor Alee.
Yeah.
But no. So, Alee, if you don't mind, if you could walk us through some of the. Or Charlie, the conversation on assisting local students who may want to do this, how firms, whether government, whether private sector, can assisting with some of the costs of sponsorship of students.
Alee?
So we're open to that. If there's any company out there that has an employee or employees, or maybe wants to set up a scholarship program in their name, they can contact us. We've established a relationship with a number of companies, some local, some international or zone companies, who are able to sponsor elements of activities that we're doing. So again, if there's anyone out there who would like to sponsor some students through this. The course, the Digital Skills Certificate Program, is in the hundreds. It's not thousands of dollars. It's
great. So it's a reasonable certificate rate.
To Charlie's original point, we set up the nonprofit so that we could focus on these things and just we're just looking to cover cost.
Yeah.
So there's no profit center motivation on this. It's just a matter of covering cost. But also, sometimes if something is free, you get a lot of signups. People don't follow through.
Absolutely.
And so we want people to follow through and see the value of what it is that we're offering. But again, we would encourage any company or any foundation, any group out there who would like to sponsor some Caymanian students to enter into the tech pathway to get in touch with us, and we would be happy to explore that option.
I think that's a brilliant idea. Please.
And if I may just add to that, CEC has a needs-based assistance program as well. So if there are any potential candidates out there that might have some that they might have some obstacles, let's say, that they might need some assistance with, we offer a program for that as well. So
fantastic. Somebody's
out there that this is their dream, and but there are things kind of preventing them from pursuing it. We'd love to speak with you.
I love it. Real life happens, and I like that you've taken this community-centered approach of there are going to be those outliers that want to but can't do it. And Alee, to your point on that commitment and how that financial investment commits you, because you're putting your heart and soul went into that money and that time, and you're reinvesting it into yourself. I heard about this program many years ago in a sports program for kids where the organizers charged the parents a fee. But at the end of the season, if you showed up to 80% of your games, whatever the ratio was, you got your fee back reimbursed to you. And all it did was ensure that all the kids showed up to their games, because parents get lazy on a Saturday and say, we could skip today, but you want your money back. You're more inclined to get off the couch, right? It's just an opportunity if you can encourage
skin in the game.
Yeah,
it makes it meaningful.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and to add to what Alee was saying as well, by the way, sponsorship can also take the form of offering an internship or volunteering your time to maybe be a teacher's assistant on one of the courses, for example. Yeah. So it doesn't need to be financial sponsorship. We're also looking for people who might be willing to volunteer their time and share their expertise with people that are going through the course.
Fantastic. Gentlemen, thank you so much. We do have to go to our 1 p.m. headline news. Yeah. Again, to the entire community, it is enterprisecayman.ky. This is the UCCI Enterprise Cayman Digital Skills Certificate Program, with programs involving CompTIA, Cisco, and overall digital literacy programs. If you are a firm out there or anyone who's interested whatsoever in these programs or the Cyber Sandbox Initiative, enterprisecayman.ky. Gentlemen, thank you so much. Have an awesome Monday and St. Paddy's Day, whatever you get up to later on this afternoon and evening. On that note, let's go to our 1 p.m. headline news. Back with more talk today right after this.
We are Radio Cayman,
covering Cayman Brac, Little Cayman, and Grand Cayman.
1 in a million. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The headline news is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
With a look at your latest headlines, I'm Dwayne Ebanks. Hazard Management Cayman Islands says the annual Carib Wave Tsunami Readiness Exercise will take place on Thursday, the 20th of March at 10 a.m. The exercise, conducted in collaboration with the Department of Education Services, aims to ensure that the public, especially educational stakeholders, are well prepared for tsunami exercises. People are encouraged to sign up for the NENS app at caymanprepared.ky. In regional news, in Trinidad, Senior Counsel Stuart Richard Young, who's 50 years old, has been sworn in as the 8th Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, succeeding Dr. Keith Rowley, who retired after 45 years in public service. Young, formerly the Minister of Energy and Energy Industries, takes office just months before the country's general elections, due by November. In his inaugural speech, Young pledged to lead with integrity, inclusion, and accountability, emphasizing the nation's cultural and religious diversity as a foundation for unity and progress. He vowed to champion reforms and strengthen the country's resilience. Camille Robinson Regis, former Planning and Development Minister, was sworn in as Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs. Young is expected to announce his cabinet, outline his administration's policies as he leads the ruling People's National Movement into the upcoming elections, with the United National Congress as the main opposition. Barbados Prime Minister Mia Mottley, chair of CARICOM, congratulated Young and welcomed his leadership in addressing regional issues, including energy and security. To Antigua, where Angela Mejia, 20, is set to appear in court today, charged with the murder of a 9-year-old, a student of Five Islands Primary. Mejia was charged on Saturday night and is expected to be remanded into prison, as the case will be tried in the high courts. The tragic killing sparked widespread condemnation, with religious groups calling for reflection and unity. The Antigua Christian Council described the murder as a heart-wrenching tragedy and urged the nations to recommit the values of love, respect, and compassion. The Seventh-day Adventist community expressed grief and called for prayers for Chantel's family and the nation, condemning the act as a reflection of troubling times. The child was last reported seen entering the accused vehicle on the day of her death. The case reignited discussions of violence and community safety in Antigua and Barbuda. That is your latest headlines. I'm Jevi Ebanks.
Radio Cayman. More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Do you have a healthcare question but not sure who to ask? Contact HSA's Patient Call Center to speak to one of our experienced clinical team members. We are here to answer your questions and help guide you through your healthcare journey. Need to make an appointment? Our team can help. Contact HSA at 949-8600 or email info@hsa.ky. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Born September 25, 1947, at Watering Place, Cayman Brac, Royce Adolphus Dilbert was the firstborn son to Helen and Grace Dilbert, nee Tibbets. As a young boy, he attended Weston Primary School, then later Gainstead High School in Jamaica, when the family moved there to be closer to his dad, who was chief engineer on Kirkconnell ships. During school breaks, he would work at Hannah's haberdashery store as a wrapper. Wanting to be a seaman and engineer like his dad, shortly after his 16th birthday, Royce would join his dad on the Kirkconnell ship, the Kirk Pride, as a messman, later working on other Kirkconnell ships for Bawden Shipping on the Merkel, National Boat Carriers, West Indian Towing Company, and West Indian Lines. Mr. Dilbert would enroll at National Technical School, and at age 25, he achieved his chief engineer license. By this time, Royce had worked his way up the ranks from BR messman to wiper oiler, fireman, second and first engineer to chief engineer.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Explore your history, explore your land. Explore your sister islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your sister islands.
Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
And welcome back to Talk Today. I'm Raymond Singh, your guest host for this very happy St. Paddy's Day. Big shout out to Ms. Rosie, who will be back in studio tomorrow as we share the role of Talk Today. Very pleased to have in studio now for the next half hour the Miss Marla Dukharan. Did I say that correct?
Yes.
And Miss Michelle Lockwood here to discuss the CPR referendum community rally, which will take place tomorrow. And Ms. Marla, we're going to actually start this conversation off with you because you've been on Talk Today a few times before.
I have.
You have quite a unique background. I was saying I have heard you on the show before. I've always wanted to meet you, but, you know, Sterling kind of hogged the limelight. And
yeah, I think Sterling is the one person who's interviewed me the most ever.
Is he really?
Yeah, ever. I think so. Yeah.
His head just got so much shinier and bigger. Like, I know Sterling is listening to the show right now, and he's going to go, uh-oh. My hair is getting a little too out of whack. He knows I can make fun of him just a little bit.
So it's a joy to be back. So thanks for having me.
Thank you. And Michelle, how are you today?
I'm good, thanks. I've been here too.
I know.
Loads of times.
I know. You're no stranger to the seats.
Yeah.
You have your seats locked in, no tags on your seats.
Yeah.
You're all good to go. But here, let's jump right into it because we don't have a whole lot of time. With regards to yourself, Miss Marla, you have, for those who may not be working, you share very quickly a bit about your professional background.
So I'm from Trinidad and Tobago, and I'm an economist. I've lived in Barbados for since 2018, but now, no longer living in Barbados, so mostly back in Trinidad and bouncing around where I need to be for work. And I am here to discuss tomorrow at which Michelle will expand on the event that's on tomorrow evening, based on a report that I've put together on the impact of tourism and more specifically cruise tourism in the Cayman Islands, and doing an analysis of all the numbers available to us. And actually there were quite a few numbers. There's a lot of data. And that was really good. It was really, I was salivating over all of the data. So I've written a report that will be released tomorrow night after I deliver the presentation.
Are you able to share some of your findings, even if anecdotally, and some?
Sure. I don't know if you want to talk about the event first, Michelle.
No, go for it. No, you go for it, yeah.
So the first thing I would say is that I find it really unfortunate that there's so much polarization around this issue, because I feel like of course there's a lot of emotion, and when there's a lot of emotion, I think it impairs our judgment and our ability to make a good decision when we're emotional. So I've tried to bring as much data and information to the report as I can. And I encourage people to have more dialogue, because when we're in our echo chambers, we can get really, passionate is the word I would use, about our own position, and we don't necessarily hear or understand somebody else's position. And I think we need some of that. We need to talk to each other on both sides to understand and try to meet more in the middle on this issue. So that's the first thing I would say. And on any issue, okay? So, but this one is especially polarizing. The second thing I would say is that, yes, there have been, in terms of the data, there have been declines in cruise arrivals to the Cayman Islands over many years. But guess what? Cayman is not unique in that regard. And I did do an analysis that compares all the jurisdictions that are in the report that was done by the Cruise Line Association. I forget how it's called. Florida something.
Florida, I think Caribbean Cruise Association.
Cruise Association, yes.
The Brea report.
Report, yes. So they did a 2018-2019 report, and then they did a 23-24 report. And when you look at the data on those two reports and compare the trends, many countries have seen similar declines, and part of that is to do with the pandemic, obviously. Cruise ships were a vector for spreading the virus, and cruise ships brought the virus to many countries in the Caribbean for the first time.
Right at the Cayman.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So, it's not just that you don't have a cruise pair and that's why you have these declines. There are broader issues that are affecting other countries as well.
Can I ask on those? So, appreciating that issues are going to affect similarly different countries, especially in the Caribbean, where we share so much culturally, not so much geographically at times, but with regards to the factors that are specific to Cayman, are you able to identify factors for us, what could be driving our cruise tourism numbers without looking at the rest of the region? Because it's very easy to put everyone together, but when you start extrapolating jurisdictions, things look different. We have different policies, we have different politics, we have different. Cayman is such a multicultural melting pot. We don't actually have that close when it comes to population. Very similar Caribbean-wise and culture and mindset. But are there any specific factors which, for Cayman, you can say confidently, these are some of the highlight factors that are really driving these numbers here?
So apparently there's been an increase in the amount of cruise trips that are 2 to 4 days in length.
Okay.
Right? And Cayman is well outside of that length of trip. So you find that destinations like Bahamas, the Florida Keys and so on are the ones that are getting much more traffic, much more. I mean, Bahamas is far exceeding its pre-COVID numbers and record. They're breaking records, right?
Can I ask you a question on that?
Yes.
Because those two jurisdictions, the Keys and Bahamas, proximity-wise to Florida and their cruise ports, is going to be, I think, a little more advantaged than we would be being south of Cuba.
Absolutely. And so the fact that cruise lines are selling more and more 2 to 4 day trips, more so than others, you're seeing growth in that segment. And Cayman is outside of that.
Sure.
Then that is one factor that explains why we're seeing less than others. Now, I have to say that it's very difficult in the data to establish causation. There's a difference between correlation and causation.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, we can say that cancer causes smoking, right? You understand what I mean?
I'm with you all the way. I'm following all the way.
Because there was a study that said cancer causes smoking. Because they made the point that correlation is not causation. And I am unable, with the amount of data available to me, including the ESO report that was put out, it did not establish causation. I am unable to establish causation because there's not enough data to establish causation. But when you compare to other countries, you can infer, for example, with that comparison to Bahamas and and the Keys, that they're seeing more arrivals. And when you look at the data, and the data tells you the 2 to 4 day trip itineraries are the ones that are seeing the most growth, and we're outside of that, then that's one explanatory factor.
Okay.
Right?
With regards to the other, because I do want to jump to the fact that we have the conversation tomorrow, which is an important one, but I do want to ask, because I've wanted to ask these questions for so long. I have you here. I'm going to take this moment. Like a little the other jurisdictions in the Caribbean region, which I guess we more closely would align with, whether it's from distance and proximity to Florida, that are looking at, because you're rightfully saying that to come to Cayman, you need to be on a cruise that's longer than 4 days, theoretically. Are there jurisdictions within the region that are showing similar patterns to us? And if so, if you can't extrapolate for us, can you extrapolate for the region then, for those similar jurisdictions? I'm assuming Turks. I could be wrong. I don't know all the jurisdictions and who is similar to us. But from that data, can you actually extrapolate what regionally, outside of the 2 to 4 day window, is driving those numbers? Like COVID is 5 years ago. Finance is, tourism globally is changing.
Yeah.
But it's not diminishing. It's still growing.
Yeah.
This industry still has, theoretically, a market that's viable, that's out there.
Okay, if I'm interpreting your question, because I feel I'm not.
I know it's a very heavy question. Basically, it's
so
not a correlation to other jurisdictions.
So you're saying other jurisdictions, like let's take St. Martin, for example.
Sure, they were referenced last time we had this conversation.
Because they built big cruise piers and so on.
Yes.
Yeah, and they're seeing, okay, so we'll have to read the report tomorrow. I cannot remember exactly if they were seeing higher numbers or lower. So I wouldn't comment right now on that because I don't have the report in front of me. But there are different factors in different countries. For example, in the report, I highlight Barbados. Barbados is seeing a lot more cruise traffic than it did before. But that's because of government policy. The government in Barbados has decided two things. One, they gave the cruise ships safe haven during COVID and ever since, so that the cruise ships can dock in Barbados and home port in Barbados, which of course has led to, thousands of hectares of damaged reefs that has been highlighted in the literature and has been written about tremendously.
From the development of their ports?
No, from the cruise ships dragging their anchors and anchoring.
Even though they have ports?
They have a port, but I guess it can't accommodate the amount of cruise ships that they've given.
So they've overbooked their port.
Right.
And that's causing the damage to their reefs. Okay.
Yes, they have a lot more traffic, and that's partly because of the policy of extending the safe haven and home porting and so on. They've also been starting to do provisioning, it's been a few months now, provisioning for the cruise ships. And so I tell you, I spent a lot of December and January in Barbados, and I couldn't get milk, I couldn't get chicken, I couldn't get beef. I went to a high-end, meat store and bought steaks that were $100 US for one, because that was the only beef I could find, and it was probably frozen for a year because it was horrible. And when I start asking questions about why is it that I feel like I'm in Havana here, and then people say, "Oh, it's because the cruise ships are there's no eggs." I mean, I spent $52 US for 2 pounds of tomatoes and one papaya in Barbados.
And you're an economist,
December.
so this is serious
matter. Yeah, of course. But you need to eat, right?
Yeah.
So that cruise home porting and provisioning in Barbados is causing a huge problem.
Cindy, I really wish we had longer to talk about this because I want.
Well, tomorrow evening.
Tomorrow evening, come and ask all the questions.
Yes,
you're going to answer all them all.
Yes, please.
Thank you so much. I do appreciate that I had the opportunity. And at some point, I know we're going to have you back on the station, and I'm going to have you and I'll have 2.5 hours to go. Okay, walk me through everything, and then we'll club.
That's probably still not enough time. For her wisdom.
No, I know. There's a lot there, right? There's a lot to unpack.
We could probably do later this week if you want.
Deal. We'll have you back at the station. There we go. Show is booked the rest of the week. But Michelle, we do have. Thank you, Ms. Marla. I really appreciate that. So Michelle, we have the rally tomorrow.
Community rally. We're calling it a community rally.
Community rally. Walk us through all of it.
Okay, so just to did really intro CPR. So CPR Cayman.
Yes.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, Marla was so important.
Of course. Just as a quick thing, CPR Cayman is set up as a not-for-profit organization. Just asking certain questions about what's going on with regards to the cruise berthing decision. We were the ones who set out and got the People's Initiative referendum in 2019. Obviously, that got shelved for a number of reasons. Now we have a government-initiated referendum with technically a lot less information than we had in 2019. Mm-hmm. This is going to be likely our only community event where we're going to have speakers, and we thought it very important to have speakers that are experts in their fields like Marla. We also have Dr. Thomas Guro. Please forgive me if I'm saying your name incorrectly. He is a coral reef expert and works with the Global Coral Reef Alliance.
Yes.
So those are our two main speakers from outside of the jurisdiction. Then we'll have some other speakers from CPR ourselves and some other experts from on island. The event is tomorrow at Constitution Hall, formerly Town Hall, Georgetown, at 6 p.m. And we're going to be trying to run on time. Never anything in Cayman runs on time, but we're going to...
today does?
Yeah, of course you do.
You guys got on time?
Well, we're going to start on time. Whether or not we finish on time, I don't know.
You had the same issue, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's tomorrow night at Constitution Hall, and we're looking forward to people coming, asking questions, and just trying to get informed and making the best decision that we can make for the future of our islands on this issue.
Awesome. It's then from the community, so Constitution Hall tomorrow night. The time of it again?
6 p.m.
6 p.m. And as far as what the community can expect when they show up tomorrow, what is involved with the community rally outside of the speeches and some of the keynote speeches that are going on tomorrow with Ms. Marla and Dr. Thomas?
Yes, Dr. Thomas Garreau.
Yes.
That's basically it. It's just we're just having a platform for them, our experts, to speak and then to ask questions as well too.
So the community will have the opportunity to ask
questions.
And
There'll be. I mean, it'll probably devolve more into an open mic, but we'll try and keep it to the point.
Bring guitar and bongos. And, make a song out of it.
Yeah.
So as far as for those that want to attend that aren't mobile,
we will be streaming.
You will be streaming. Where can they actually watch the stream, and how can they actually interact via your stream? Where they can
I'm not sure how easy it's going to be to interact.
Okay.
I don't know all the specifics of it because I don't know who's going to be moderating that. I'm sure someone will, but it should be streamed on Facebook and YouTube.
On which pages?
CPR Cayman.
Okay, so CPR Cayman.
Yeah.
Stream, and that stream goes live at 6.
Goes live at 6. Yes.
On time.
On time.
When it will end, no one knows.
That's it.
Closing time, nobody knows just yet.
Hopefully 8:30.
Okay, and then ultimately, I guess I understand both sides of this conversation. At least what is said of the end goals of both sides of this conversation. We've had on the station before previously from the Sustainable Cayman side, their voices heard on the radio. We've had from I forget the name of the other side of the coin, Mr. Ileann, who's been on the station before, and several other members who want, and we know they want the port, we know you do not want the port. What do you hope to achieve from tomorrow, that you want the community tomorrow when they leave? What do you actually want to know other than, hey, we don't want a port?
I think we just want people to understand what the reasons are that we have the concerns for whether or not we should have cruise berthing. And port, we're trying not to use port. It's more berthing, right? Because we don't want to destroy the environment. But, we have to be very careful with the certain words because certain words just kind of get interchanged. Mm-hmm. And it's not that we're against port. And the other thing I'd like to be clear about, because I think a lot of people just kind of take that, they're against cruise berthing, so they must be against enhancements. That's not true. We think that there should be enhancements to the cruise pier. Oh, right? Because we can't. They're tourists are standing in the heat. There's not enough public restroom facilities available in town. There's lots of things that can be done to enhance and make it a much more enjoyable experience, not just on the pier, but also on the tender boats. Should those be, they will continue to run even if we do get down the road of a pier. But
Okay, so from your perspective, as part of, I'm assuming, the Georgetown revitalization efforts of how Seafarers weigh on the terminal buildings, you're preferring to see the enhancements done on the land side with how people engage.
Well, they have to. They're going to have to be done regardless, right?
Sure. You don't want to see it out.
Yeah, me personally, I just don't. I think that the coral reefs are worth saving. So, and there's a lot of other things to be concerned about, which is partly what Marla's going to speak to tomorrow as well. But no, we're not anti-cruise. We're not anti-enhancements to the cruise pier. All of that stuff, can be done. We can make things much more wheelchair accessible. And like I said, shading it, making it a little bit nicer when you're on the pier. But yeah, so we're just trying to ask people to come out just to listen.
Okay.
If you have a question that you haven't felt has been answered, come out with a question, ask it. And like I said, we'll try as hard as we can to moderate the live streams.
Sure.
But please bear with us that we're a volunteer organization and all volunteers are going to be around. So I don't know how quickly we'll be able to look at any questions on that, but we'll try our best.
And then one of the issues that when I was on the station with, funny enough, Sterling Dwayne, a few months ago, we had this kind of just how would we solve the world's issues if we could actually work together, and it was just up to Dwayne and I to fix these issues, right? Mm-hmm. And not that would ever be, he's far too talented to ever use my help. He could solve it. He's running for office. But one of the issues we talked about was the absence of collaboration. This was a point that I had made during the show. I can find the date and send you the link to see the episode where we were talking about it. And what the comment I made was this conversation has been going on for a very long time.
Yeah. Longer
than I've been in Cayman for 2 decades. Longer than that, this conversation has been going on. Sites we had from your side, I believe from the Sustainable Cayman side, previously discussing previous sites that were looked at a generation ago. But my point was that the absence of collaboration on either side, and you mentioned at the very start of this conversation, Marla, the polarization of this conversation versus the collaboration of this conversation. There is a clear divide between both sides where from me in the middle, just kind of sitting here behind the microphone, it looks like both sides just genuinely do not have any interest in getting on the table together and having a meaningful conversation about how to, whether to build a port, how to increase cruise ship tourism. And I know from one side doesn't see that as valuable as, say, stay over tourism or more eco-friendly tourism, and I understand the logic and the argument on one side. But I feel there's a gap in this conversation where the other side is making some points, and I'm not talking about building the pier. I'm talking about on the land side of employability for Caymanians, how Georgetown is going to look in 10 years, one way or the other. It's changing. Like, how do we get both sides to the table and find a collaborative way? Is there even an appetite on this side for CPR, Sustainable Cayman, all of it? I'm going to ask the other side too when I get back on, because they have asked, but I'm asking you.
That's a loaded question.
Very
to
loaded.
Ask me on
Very,
the spot.
very, very loaded.
To be honest with you, I think that you hit on some points that there is a carrying capacity issue, and we have to admit that. And the carrying capacity
Sorry,
issue.
Yes.
And so just to sort of say, we need to increase tourism without talking about what the carrying capacity of the Cayman Islands is, I think would be completely disastrous. We have to talk about the carrying capacity. We have to establish what that means. And I think it was the PPM government at the time commissioned the report by PwC, the outline business case for the cruise berthing facility. It stated that the carrying capacity that they estimated should be 2.1 million cruise passengers to establish an equilibrium between cruise, stayover, and locals.
What is the number right now?
At the height we were at 1.9. I think that was in 2019 before obviously COVID.
Sure. Okay.
We are now I think 1.1.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
But I would argue, I mean, I don't know quite where the number that PwC came from, but that is, I would argue that at 1.9 we were probably at an unsustainable level at the time.
I would agree to that. I remember when those numbers were.
Yeah, you remember when we had 6 to 8.
You couldn't drive through town.
Yeah, exactly. You can hardly drive through town as it is when it's a cruise ship day.
One of the stations actually made a joke about calling it a category 1, 2, 3, or 4, 5 day because they actually referenced it to being like a storm because
I never heard that, but that's interesting.
Like how many ships were in town?
Yeah.
There was a Cat 1 or a Cat 2. There was one of the stations that made that joke about it.
Yeah.
I know we had to. Can you please quickly just run through the rally for tomorrow? I know that was a heavy question. I appreciate you even answering it, and Marla for entertaining the question. I know there's a heavy conversation. 30 minutes is not enough. But please quickly, for those who may have missed, please run through tomorrow's rally information and how people can get more information directly from you.
All right, so it's CPR Cayman's community rally on the cruise berthing issue. It's tomorrow at Constitution Hall. That's formerly Town Hall, or what we all know colloquially as Town Hall, 6 p.m. It will be streamed on YouTube and Facebook, and all of our pages are CPR Cayman. So we're on LinkedIn, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, and we're on YouTube. CPR Cayman.
Fantastic. And Miss Marla will be there.
Yes.
Sharing all the findings
of
the report, which we're so eager to see, because I am.
Yeah, it'll be online. Well, I'll be sharing my findings tomorrow night, and then the report will be online. And I'm happy to come and discuss the report later in the week with you on air if you like.
I've got to work out the schedule. If it works out, then yes, you got first priority. I'll kick out whoever politician wants to come in, a hopeful candidate.
Be careful.
But I'm going to stay because Miss Marla's here. We have to make room. She's only on island for a week.
Yeah, exactly.
On that note, Miss Marla, thank you so much. It was a pleasure. Miss Michelle, thank you so much. All the best with the rally tomorrow.
Thank you.
We do hope to get you back on the station at some point.
You will.
I have no doubt.
Yeah.
On that note, let's go to our 1:30 commercial break. When we come back, we will be joined by Miss Ileann Powery, some young Caymanians, and hopefully some political hopefuls who are here to discuss anti-bullying and a all-partisan initiative to stop bullying in the Cayman Islands. Collaboration. Back with more talk today, right after this.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Easter vacation is just around the corner, and Cayman Airways has added multiple extra flights to some of your favorite destinations, some of mine too. Look here, they got seats available now for booking on extra Easter flights between Grand Cayman and Kingston, La Ceiba, Miami, Cayman Brac, Little Cayman, and you can even catch a non-stop flight to Montego Bay for Easter. Check it out. You can visit CaymanAirways.com, contact a local travel agent, or call Cayman Airways Reservations on 949-2311. And don't wait too long though, because these extra Easter seats always sell fast. Be sure to add your Sir Turtle Rewards number to your booking so you can earn more miles for more free trips this year. But I know where I'm going. I'll see you on board our uniquely Caymanian airline for Easter.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Boddentown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Boddentown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Hi, this is Roy Tatum, your PPM candidate for Red Bay.
Hi, this is Crystal Gomez Wilson, your PPM candidate for Prospect.
Come out Tuesday, March 18th at 7 p.m. to our joint Red Bay and Prospect area meeting at the empty lot next to the Seafarers Hall.
Come listen to the issues and solutions that matter to you. We are proven, stable leadership. Moving forward with the PPM.
We're moving forward. We're moving forward.
The nation listens. The candidates speak. Subway presents the General Election Debates, live in studio on Radio Cayman 89.9 FM and 93.9 in the Sister Islands. Every Monday and select Wednesdays from 7 to 10 p.m. 2 sessions. One powerful discussion. With Election Day fast approaching, hear what the candidates have to say on the cost of living, housing and development, economic growth, sustainability, education, transport, tourism, immigration, and more. Who has the vision? Who has the plan? Hear it all unfold live, unfiltered, and on the voice of the Cayman Islands. Radio Cayman, 89.9 FM and 93.9. Streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. Visit Radio Cayman's social media pages for debate details. Brought to you in part by Cayman Enterprise City.
Also brought to you by Reflections, UCCI, and Yum.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
And welcome back to Talk Today. I'm Raymond Singh, your host for the day. Big shout out again to Mr. OC, who's been holding down the fort. He'll be back in tomorrow. And I do want to give a big shout out to the guests that have been in the studio earlier. A very engaging show so far. Enterprise Cayman and Cayman Enterprise City. And then just recently you heard from Miss Marla and Miss Michelle. Michelle's here today speaking about the CPR referendum, which is referendum community rally taking place tomorrow at Constitution Hall at 6 p.m. Now, jumping into the show, I'm very pleased to have in studio, and I'm gonna introduce this segment very delicately because I want to make sure that Sterling and I, who is in studio, if you're tuning in on air, I want to say a big shout out to Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. He has returned to Radio Cayman as a guest. He did try to fight me for the seats when he came in. I'm happy to say that I exercise my dominance, and he is joining me on my right.
As a witness, that is not true.
No, but by personal, this is actually a very important show, and I'm going to spend a minute just introducing my guests that are in studio. A quick note, we are not taking phone calls. For this segment, you are welcome to send a WhatsApp message. We are talking about a number of issues. However, this particular segment has been opened up to members of individuals who are running for elected office in the 2025 general election in April. We also have in studio Mr. Phoenix Singh. Good afternoon, Phoenix.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Now, for those who are not aware, in full disclosure, Phoenix is my son, celebrating his 13th birthday this week. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
The claps. We have Miss Ileann Powery. Welcome back to the studio.
Yes, good afternoon, Cayman. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. No stranger to Cayman or Radio Cayman Airwaves, former Miss Cayman 2023.
Correct.
And a avid volleyball player.
Correct.
National player.
Yes.
And a very vocal proponent for anti-bullying measures within our school system. I know you've been on public tours for our school system, private schools as well, to discuss how this is affecting both teachers, parents, the whole 9 yards, everybody in the community.
Exactly.
To my right, we have Miss Dawn representing the Cayman Islands National Party. Miss Dawn was in studio last week. Welcome back.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for the short notice to jump back in studio. For those who may have missed the segment last week, I believe it was last Wednesday, Miss Dawn, along with her colleague, Mr. Michael Miles, were in studio discussing some of their manifesto, some of their goals that they would like to see achieved, and they're still working on their more formalized plan. But one of the topics we had touched upon was education and the need for, I don't want to use the word bold as education,